Hey everybody, my name is Andimus. Thank you so much for watching. This is going to be a little bit different of a video here because I'm recording out of town. Long story short, I travel a lot for my work, and I'm not at my desk. I'm not at home. At home, I am currently in my car waiting for my coworkers. In the middle of nowhere in Virginia. Let's be honest, it's in the middle of fucking nowhere, and I hate it. But it's my job, so I got to do what I got to do. Anyways, okay, so I'm making this video, and I'm recording it this way because I wanted to make a video. Didn't have time this weekend. Kind of busy doing some stuff, but I wanted to make this video about kind of the state of the game, my opinions of Predecessor, and I got some gameplay in the background right here. And I wanted to talk about it a little bit. So I'm going to break it down between a few different categories. I'm going to do the look and feel of the game. I'm going to do how it feels compared to, let's say, Paragon. I'm going to compare it to other MOBAs that I play, mainly Smite. I've played a few other MOBAs. I'm not a big fan. I'm going to break it down in my opinions on what can make this game better. So let's get started. First things first, the look and feel of the game. Look and feel of the game, it's pretty incredible. The feel of it, there's no delay, no lag in between abilities, movements. There's no stutters that I have noticed. So the feel of the game, really good. The look of it is incredible. I mean, they did a great job on this game. The look, I can't say good things, any more good things about this game. I mean, it really does look and feel incredible. It plays like the best MOBA. It plays like any MOBA I've played. The game looks amazing. Let's just say that. The game feels amazing. Can't say any more good things about it. It's just incredible. Let's compare this to Paragon, and they did a really good job at keeping the feel of Paragon alive. The game feels like Paragon without being it. They made some improvements in the abilities and the map too. I think the map, they did a really good job. So I think we're either moving too fast or the map is a little bit too small, because there's, you can travel from offlane to Fangtooth in like 10 seconds. So when Fangtooth comes up at 5 minutes or whatever it is, the whole team, you just get an instant team fight at, level 3, level 4, 5 minutes into the game. So I would like to see either the map get a little bit bigger, or I don't think it would be good if the movement speed was decreased, because then that would make it feel a little slower. Honestly, there's a few things I want to say about that too, but I'll talk about that later. So it does feel very much like a Paragon game. They altered the cards and the item shop. So early game Paragon was the 60 card or 60 item with the 6 card deck, and you built a deck for each individual character. And then they changed that to a 3 card deck, if you want to call it that, with an open item shop. And I think what they did there, that late game, didn't work because they had just so many crazy actives and passives for each card. And it kind of made the game unbalanceable, in my opinion. Then we had, so I did like that 6 card, 60 point, I can't remember what they called it, 60 point, 6 card deck system. I think that was a lot of fun to do. They just needed to upgrade those cards a little bit. What they did here is just, you still have 6 slots, you have a permanent ward, and a permanent health chalice, and then you have your starter, whatever you want to call that too. Your starter item, your relic, that has an interesting passive and active for each role. I do like the the relic system. I do like that each individual role has its own one that you can pick and choose. And, it would be fun to kind of expand that a little bit more. I like the permanent health chalice. I do wish that they can include either like a health and mana and just instead of just a health one, because that's a little. You can't buy mana pots. You can't buy health pots. I think that's a little crazy. Especially for mid laners that are getting overwhelmed and can't get the river buffs, so they can't get mana back. So they're just have no mana and they get underfarmed, and then it's just kind of a snowball effect. So I would like to see that expand to either just a health and mana pot or be able to swap them out to whatever you prefer. Because I don't think a Chimera early game would need a health pot, right? Does that make sense? I've said this before. I've never liked the pyramid pathway of card building and item building. It just creates such a clutter in your items to be able to buy like 4 or 3 different short swords and bows to be able to just upgrade those to one. I really like what Smite does, where you have one item that has 2 different paths, and then those 2 different paths have 2 or 1 or 3 different items depending on what you buy. I think that's a really good middle lane between what Paragon had and what Predecessor has now. So that's my personal opinion. I don't know if you like this or not. I just feel like it clutters up your items. It is just a waste, I think. So that's my personal opinion. I'm getting wrecked in this game, and I'll talk about this a little bit later. The fourth and final thing I wanted to talk about is my personal opinions on the game. So I'm going to be a little bit critical here, but just hear me out. I got a lot to say about this in such a short time. So my biggest concern with this game is kind of counterplays and overpowered heroes. So in this game that I'm playing, I'm going up against a Richter, and in this, Richter is one of the most overpowered gods, heroes, whatever you want to call it in the game. His hook comes out so fast, and then you just get silenced. He has that movement ability, and then you just die. Especially against a Drongo, where it's a double silence and you get slowed. There's really no counter to that, right? There's not too much counter. I mean, maybe if you have a really good support, Decker maybe would help. But I just feel like they didn't really take the time in making Predecessor, looking back at Paragon and saying, okay, what can we make different? What can we make better, more balanced, instead of just taking these guys and saying, oh, Richter was fine, throw him in there. Power creep is nothing. It doesn't exist. But instead of saying, okay, let's take Richter, except let's slow down his hook a little bit, right? Let's take Narbash's thunk, slow it down just a bit. Let's give a little bit more movement to Murdoch. That's my personal opinion on that. There's really no counter. There's overpowered gods or heroes everywhere, and there's not too much counterplay. The only other concern that I have in this game is the progression through a match. And you have team fights because everybody's rotating to Fangtooth because that's so overpowered. And then you just have constant team fights. Whoever wins the lane gets more gold because the last hit mechanic on minions is really stupid, because if you don't last hit a minion, then you don't get the gold. So then you get underfed, and it's a snowball transition. It's snowball mechanic. It's horrible. So instead of giving you some residual gold, even though you don't last hit a minion, give you some extra gold and XP throughout the match, so you hit 18 a full build at 25 minutes instead of 35 minutes or 45 minutes, So those are my personal opinions on the game. Let me know what you think about it. Comment down below. If I'm just bullshitting, let me know. And if you agree with me, tell me. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I love you all. By the way, I rage quit this game because screw Richter. So thanks everybody. Love you all. Peace.